Hello everybody, my name is Daniel, and today we are back for the sixth night, the final night before the custom night. And yeah, we got through the first 5 nights. We are back here for the sixth night. And yeah, we just got to get through this last one before the real hell starts to break loose. No phone call tonight, so I'm just going to have to fill in the rest of the time with me talking. So again, the nights they keep getting progressively tougher. And I guess I'll talk a little bit about the lore of this game, something that I haven't really gone too much into depth about throughout this series, which is it's definitely a big part that can't be ignored. So again, we have this concept of the Bite of 87 that the phone guy mentioned in the first call on the first night. So, and you can ask 5 Nights at Freddy's fans, that's probably the most significant event that occurs in the series, although there's been so much added onto the canon that I don't even know if that's still recognized as, oh wow, he's already peeking out. Okay, things are getting real tonight. Things are getting real tonight. That's not good that he's already peeking out. But as far as the actual canon of this story goes, the Bite of 87 is basically nothing's really the same after that, and that I still think, I don't know if it's settled now, but I think it's even still debated among which animatronic has done it. That's how controversial this event is. So for a while there was a big majority of people that thought it was the guy who's staring at me right there in Pirate's Cove as Foxy. And the main reason people thought that was because when he jump scares you in this game, you can see that his jaw is broken. His jaw is loose, so people thought that as punishment and to prevent him from doing another bite, his jaw was purposely broken to prevent something like that from happening. However, then there were the second game, and then that actually does, I think, take place in 1987, so some people thought it was Mangle, which is kind of like the toy animatronic version of Foxy. And it gets really confusing, but as far as what I think about it, I don't know. I like to think that it was Foxy. That's the simple theory, but I think that's really been debunked now. There's more sources to debunk all of these animatronics than there is source to support who did it. I think it actually finally has been revealed. I'll have to do my research on what animatronic did the Bite of 87. It's never revealed though. Maybe it was Golden Freddy. Might have been Freddy. But I think it was. I think the consensus still is that it's Foxy. And you guys, the viewers, you guys can do your research on it too. It's very interesting. Do it when you have a lot of time, because you're just gonna go down a wormhole. It's so confusing. This game is so much story and history behind it. And if I am fortunate enough to be able to play the second game with you guys, you guys will see that we're actually playing a prequel to this game, because of that paycheck that you guys saw in the last video is actually, the pay stub is marked with a date prior to the one on this game. So it is a prequel. The second game took place before this game, which that was a really big shock when the game originally came out. And that did take place in the year 1987, so I think we know, I don't even think it's debated. I think they know that the location that we worked at, bloody hell. That freaked me out. These things are starting to freak me out. You can only play so much of this game. And the sounds and everything. But I think it's pretty much confirmed that the location we play at, the security guard we play as in the second game, that's where the Bite of 87 took place, was at that pizzeria restaurant. And we know that those are 2 different locations because the maps, the entire layout of the restaurant is different. It's very different. So we just hit 50% and we just hit 3 AM, so doing pretty good for power. Not as well as I have done in the past 2 nights, but pretty good. This night definitely has been a bit tougher. As you would hope, this is the 6th night. The This is the final night before the custom night. But yeah, I mean, and then the third game is tough. The third game basically is kind of, it takes place after both the first two games, and it's kind of like basically the events are known, and the purple guy and that whole thing is like another thing that I'll explain too. But the third game takes place at the events and like all the horrible things that have occurred at these restaurants. That the third game is kind of like you're a security guard of a kind of like a museum or like theme park of like a collection of all these games, and basically like they find old scrap animatronics and they find a real animatronic that's like still functioning, like Springtrap, and that's the only one, that's like the only official animatronic in that game. The rest are just hallucinations. And I'm sorry if I'm spoiling this for you, but I'm sure the audience has some good knowledge or won't care, but it gives you context. So the purple guy, what I mentioned a little bit earlier, the purple guy is kind of a weird one. So he's basically the reason these animatronics are moving during the nighttime and they're not behaving normally is because they're haunted. Is the theory, and basically the souls of dead children have infested this restaurant and they've invaded the animatronics to basically where they're moving. And I think they even physically got stuffed into, I think they're literally inside. The decaying dead bodies are inside the animatronics, which obviously that's where the game gets a little bit unrealistic, because obviously the smell, and there would be like some wear and tear of the animatronics just because of the natural decomposition of the body, but you have to use your little imagination. But they even talk about that stuff. It is a little bit realistic, because Phone Guy I think even mentions in this game or the second game that there is an odor. There are customers that complain about the odor that comes from the animatronics after like the murders happen. So it was like 5 kids that were murdered, which makes sense because there are like 5 animatronics in this game. But then, like, the second game has more, and then it gets confusing on how the rest of them are haunted. And then there's, like, the stuff. I don't know if all fans recognize, like, Sister Location, or I think the majority of fans recognize all these games, everything officially made by Five Nights at Freddy's in the franchise, to be part of the canon and reveal something about these pizzeria restaurants. But I mean, I really only take the first 3 or 4 games as canon just because I can understand it, it makes sense. And even that 4th game gets a little bit crazy, but I accept it. That's just my opinion. Some people disagree with me, some people say, Daniel, you gotta have all of them for it to make sense. And that's probably true for it to make sense, but I don't really want it to make sense, I just want it to be good. And I feel like the more you add on, the less it makes sense, but just my opinion. We are going to cut it here pretty soon, but I can't cut it as early as I usually do because he's peeking out of his curtain, and on the 6th night he's going to have a pretty quick sprint down the hallway. So I definitely do not want to die from him running down the hallway. But I am going to cut it after this look. I'll do one more. I'm a little bit scared. I'm about to get jump scared. $6 a.m. baby. That is all official nights completed this game. 6 a.m. We are done. Again, got some overtime. Good job, sport. You earned some overtime. I have earned some overtime. As far as the last bit of this series, we're down to the last episode now. Again, I'm not sure how that's going to come out, whether it'll be a live stream, whether it'll be video, just because the custom night, see, we got 2 stars. So basically how this works is, I'll show you a little bit, is I turned all of the AI levels up to 20 mode. And it's going to be very difficult. But that won't stop me from trying. So I'll see you for that 420 mode. No idea how it's going to be done, but I'm going to try and complete it, and the series will not be over until it's done. As always, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next video. Stay safe, have a great day, and bye-bye.